It's fine.
Wow.
And we are live. Yay.
Here we are.
Through trials and tribulations.
We made it.
Yeah. So let me get this up here, and it's January 30th, 2023, and these are your Fortean Files. I'm not happy with I literally have to get in touch with Phil to get a new one. That is just bad.
We'll have to do something.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, Katie and I used to do the Fortean Slip podcast, which was started by me back in 2013 with Steve Alcorn and Matt Knapp. We decided to end the show a while ago. I was feeling kind of out of sorts about the whole thing. I needed some time, and the show had kind of I don't know, run its course, so to speak. And Katie and I had gotten to talking back and forth about starting something different or starting something new. Not necessarily so far different that it's, way outside of what we were doing before. It's just we wanted something fresh, and we don't want to go into the same old moniker. We did want to try to keep it somewhat similar, which is why we kept the Fortean name. But otherwise, we wanted to try something different, do a little more true crime. I'd like to focus on a cult a week, Katie.
That's a lot of cults.
A cult a week. No, we can do multiple cults.
Oh, there's lots.
They can hit Scientology at least like 50 times.
Oh yeah. I got plenty to talk about with that.
But yeah, I want to do highlight a special cult every week to bring to the people so that they can see what horse shit is out there. You and I recently went through did you finish the second half of the Nexium doc?
Yes, I did.
That fucking wild horse shit.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's something. Like, talk about manipulation.
Yeah, I feel like the second season was way more of a emotional roller coaster where it made you feel things that you didn't necessarily consent to. Like, whoa. Whereas the first one was more documentary style.
I went when I watched the second half, I found that it went to the exact places I thought it was going to go.
It went to the places we all wanted it to go. I
mean, like, he took it. Keith Raniere took things to the places I was like, yeah, I kind of knew that it was going here.
I meant the direction of the documentary itself. Like, I knew that they were going to like insert some perspectives that we didn't get in the first half, but like, whoa, they got some opposing perspectives that I wasn't expecting personally.
Yeah, I was not expect. What was the woman's name? His partner. Shit.
The one that's like still in and still devout.
No. The one that they pretty much focused on during the documentary with the daughters.
With the dark hair.
Yeah, I can't think of her fucking name, but I was really surprised to see that she was in it. As much as she was. I knew that they had gotten her for the second half, but I didn't realize how much. And
well, and how raw she was.
Yes, it was. Some of it was really hard to listen to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I knew it was going to go deep, but like, whoa, it really went there. It was very good.
Yeah, Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I mean, I say enjoyed. It's kind
Right.
of
In a
it's
train wreck
it's
kind of way.
fucking weird. It's
Yeah.
weird that these people allowed these things to happen, and that so many of them were just like they became so indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing what these cults can convince people to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think back to the Heaven's Gate cult. You
That
know, I
was
remember
sad.
I stayed home from school. I had like I called out sick from school, and I remember that being on all the news that morning as I was sitting there at the house, like just constantly. It was just the pictures of these people covered in those like purple
Like
fucking
cloths or
things.
blankets or
Yeah, and then
whatever. Yeah.
they had the friggin' Nikes on, and they had to have all the change in their pocket to make sure they could get the ride on the Comet.
Oh,
That's some fucking wild shit to believe
it's
that.
so many, and there's so many of them. Like, I mean, and there's Jonestown, and there's
Like,
just so
let's all
many. You're
just go
right. We
back to
could do a cult week.
putting fucking quarters over everybody's eyes after they die so they can fucking pay the ferryman.
Right? Oh,
Jesus.
some
I
weird
mean,
stuff.
yeah, it becomes it, and I understand like once you're in it, you can't see the forest for the trees type of things, but there's certain things where you have to know that something is not right in Denmark. You have to.
But they don't, Chris. But they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happens with people.
I know. I don't either. It is a fascinating thing to look into.
Yeah. So I you know, I'd like to at least highlight like one cult a week.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, we might
doable.
not be able to do one a week, but you know, maybe like one a month or something. I don't know. Figure
Yeah.
something out. But I got a thing for cults. They are wacky people.
Yeah, for sure.
Wacky. But yeah, definitely want to get into that. But to get into the stories for tonight, got some fucking fun ones. I came across a story, Katie, of the fucking Loveland Frogman.
Huh.
That something washed up or some fucking type of creature was found that bared a lot of resemblance to the Loveland Frogman. Now, granted, they thought it was just like a dog that was like hairless with like had its legs broken or something. Was what I read in the article. I couldn't find the fucking article for the life of me tonight.
Oh, was
And
there
I
a
was like,
picture?
son of a bitch. No, I couldn't even find a picture. Nothing.
Oh,
Like I was really pissed off about it.
was this in Ohio?
And that's the thing. I don't know. I'd have to have the fucking story.
Oh,
And I
man.
was like, oh, I'll be able to find this come Monday. So,
I need
you
to
know,
get out my
me
old
and Jimmy
notebook.
Buffett.
Jot that down. Look into it.
Yeah, I fucking wished I could have found it.
Oh,
But yeah, I went looking for, of course, Loveland Frogman news stories, and I couldn't find anything. But I did find, Katie, from citybeat.com. Inaugural Loveland Frogman Festival to be held at Great Wolf Lodge in Mason this spring. Anyone who thinks Ohio is boring clearly doesn't know about our connection to multiple cryptids. Yeah, they like their cryptids in Ohio. But the Frogman Festival in Mason is trying to change that. If you spend enough time in our area, you've probably heard of the Loveland Frogman and some of the other Cincinnati-based urban legends and cryptids, like open storefronts. From Sasquatch hunters to Mothman enthusiasts, Cincinnatians love their creepy creatures. Frogman is no exception, so it only makes sense that someone finally started a festival to celebrate the amphibi man. Oh, fuck you.
That was gross.
The Frogman is supposed to be a roughly 4 foot tall creature that walks on its hind legs, standing like a human, but has a frog face and head. The story originates in 1955, but picked up steam in 1972 when a local police officer reported seeing the creature to his coworker. Later, as recently as 2016, someone else reported seeing the creature. Rumor has it that it may have been a now dead iguana. But that's not nearly as much fun. The inaugural Frogman Festival will play host to a number of interesting events and debates surrounding Frogman and more. The festival, held at Great Wolf Lodge, will have a whopping 50 vendors selling art, teas, and other merch centered on Frogman and other legendary Cincy cryptids. They'll also host a Meta Zoo tournament offering a $50,000 prize to the top winners.
Oh.
Yeah. Tickets are $10 for adults. Kids get in free, Katie.
Hey, I'm
Kids-
not that far from Ohio. I could be all investigation journalist.
Kids get to hang out with the Loveland Frogman for free.
My stepdaughter would love it.
That would be the shit. Anywho, our next story of the evening from Newsweek.com. Scientist has very simple explanation for Bigfoot. It's fucking simple. It's got it all figured out.
Wow.
Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the old man of the mountain, regardless of the name, the legend of the huge ape-like creature said to roam the woods of North America has remained unexplained for centuries. But scientists may finally have solved the puzzle. In a preprint scientific paper, data scientist Flo Foxon calculated the likelihood of Bigfoot actually being a black or brown bear. Foxon found that there was a strong statistical link between black bear populations and Bigfoot sightings in any given area of the U.S. and Canada. On average, one Bigfoot sighting is expected for every 900 bears present. To reach these conclusions, Foxon used data on Sasquatch sightings across the U.S. and Canada and ran statistical tests against black bear populations in each state or province, as well as adjusting for human population and land area. Based on statistical considerations, it is likely that many supposed Sasquatch are really misidentified known forms. If Bigfoot is there, it may be many bears, Foxon wrote in the paper. Bigfoot is described as being a tall, hairy, ape-like creature, standing between 6 and 15 feet tall, that walks on 2 feet like a human through the thick woodlands. Some sightings report that the beast has a human-like face with eyes that glow yellow or red during the night. It is also thought to have enormous feet, hence the name, with footprints that have been found measuring up to 24 inches long and 8 inches across. There have been more than 10,000 eyewitness accounts of Bigfoot in the mainland U.S. over the past 50 years, 1/3 of which were in the Pacific Northwest states. Bigfoot is the North American version of the large hairy beast cryptid that is present in many countries around the world. In the Himalayas, there is the legend of the Yeti. In Brazil, the Mapinguari. In the east central Kenyan forest, the Camosit. I hope I pronounced that one right. The main explanation for the sightings of Bigfoot is that people are merely seeing black bears standing on their hind legs. I think all wildlife researchers would take the view that these sightings are of bears, most likely black bears. It is an example that many academics use with our undergraduate students. Robert Young, a professor of wildlife conservation. Plausible and simplest explanation is black bears, following Occam's razor. It is important to remember that because of our cuddly toys, we have a distorted image of bears being very fat with stubby limbs. And bears are very capable of standing bipedally and even walking that way to a limited extent. Think about the abhorrent practice of dancing bears. Despite the fur surrounding the cryptid creatures, there is no solid evidence for Bigfoot's existence. In order for the Bigfoot species to have lasted this long, there would have to have been several specimens in order for breeding to occur and for inbreeding and low genetic diversity to be avoided. However, a higher number of Bigfoot specimens in existence would therefore increase the chances of one being found dead or killed by a motorist, something that has not yet happened. No fossil evidence of other hominids except humans existing in North America has ever been found. In 2013, one Utah resident found what he said was a fossilized Bigfoot skull, but turned out merely to be a weathered rock when analyzed by a paleontologist. Hair and fecal evidence for Bigfoot's existence have turned out to belong to existing animals or to be synthetic. In a Proceedings of the Royal Society B paper from 2014, researchers described how they tested 36 Bigfoot hair samples from around the world and found that the majority belonged to raccoons, horses, deer, cows, coyotes, a Malaysian tapir, and even humans. Two of the samples did not belong to any known species, but their DNA data showed that they were not from primates. Rather, they most closely resembled that of a brown bear species. And this goes on and on and on. But yeah, he's pretty sure they're bears. Stop bears.
I feel like
Bears.
that's kind of a giant duh.
You
I
want
mean,
to, and listen, hey, I want to believe. I want to
yeah,
fucking believe. I so want to believe that there's a fucking Bigfoot out there. That's a big hairy ape running around the woods, and it's not malevolent.
well,
It's
yeah.
just trying to live.
We all want that to be the truth, but
Yeah.
and I do think misidentification accounts for a majority of the sightings, but I do think sometimes there is like, well, hold on. Not everybody's a moron that's gonna mistake. Some people spend a lot of time in the woods and they see a lot of bears. And those type of people, they have a little bit more credibility and it's more like, okay, this might not be misidentification.
Yeah. Listen, there's certain cases where I'm I have a lot more questions.
Yeah.
And then there's situations where I'm like, yeah, it was probably just a fucking bear, or this person
Right.
probably just didn't know what the fuck they were seeing. But like this guy was saying too, if these populations aren't that, because if they were big, the statistical chance of us seeing one is high.
Right.
If it's small, like you're gonna have the inbreeding, like he was saying. You're not gonna have that diverse genetic profile. Eventually it's just gonna die out.
Right. And you're talking about that on a large scale because they're seen supposedly coast to coast.
Right.
So you're talking about dense populations over a large area. So
You know what? I more and more, Katie, I'm more and more I'm beginning to think if these things fucking exist, they're aliens. I'm fucking more and more on board with it. More and more. Sorry. Call me whatever the fuck you want. But
I'm not there yet. I can say that. I'm not there yet.
Too many UFO sightings with fucking Bigfoot sightings. It's one of the things they wanted to keep quiet about the Sierra thing.
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. That's harder for me to come to. That's a much bigger speed bump for me, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not like blind to it. I know that like it's the old woo stuff,
Yeah.
I get it. I acknowledge it. But
now listen, I'm not like going Bigfoot's an interdimensional creature. I'm not fucking Dr. Johnson in this thing. But I'm definitely like more on board with the fact that these things may be extraterrestrial in nature. I'm definitely more on board with that fact nowadays.
I just don't understand why, if it's extraterrestrial in nature, then why does it look like a big giant ape? And why is it hiding?
Okay, so there's a lot of speculation that while there might be a lot of diversity in the universe, that ultimately biological forms follow a lot of the same paths.
Yeah.
So if something came from the same type of atmosphere, which if they're coming here, they would kind of have to be.
Sure.
You could logically posit that they may have evolved down the same type of lines.
Okay, but then why are they hiding and why are they in the woods?
They're aliens. They're just watching us. They're going to take us over.
Yeah, but how are they watching us from the woods, Chris? If we don't see them, how are they watching us?
Because that's good camouflage, Katie.
I don't know. I still hold on to my little 8-year-old self watching Harry and the Hendersons. And so as much as like I won't sit and argue with anybody about whether Bigfoot's real or not, like in real life, like whatever, maybe is, maybe is not. I have no stake in the game. It's just funny for me.
Right.
With where I live, I don't live in an area where Bigfoot sightings are a thing. So it is just kind of a fun thing for me. And I do I've been fascinated with Bigfoot since I was a child. So I still hold on to that in like a real earth, like undiscovered species type of sense. I can't go woo at all.
Yeah, I see a lot of this stuff. There is a lot of evidence to show that a lot of these sightings coincide. And I'm not
Yeah.
like I'm there. I'm ready to fucking be like, all right, maybe this is fucking pretty possible.
I
I'm
think I'm a
going with it.
little more skeptical, but I'm not blind to it. I see the stuff. I mean, I consume all. If it's there to consume and consider, I will, but I don't put much weight into that stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, hey, to each their own when it comes to that. I will just say that's what I'm leaning towards at this point.
Oh,
I'm more leaning towards that than that there's something from here.
well, to be fair, you've been in the game a lot longer than me, so.
I don't know that accounts for anything. On to our next story of the evening from Yorkshire Evening Post.co.uk. Mysterious 7.5 foot Bigfoot like ape creature spotted on Google Earth. Here's where you can find it. Bigfoot fanatics believe they've spotted a 7.5 foot tall Bigfoot roaming in the wilderness of Colorado. The creature was caught on camera via Google Maps. Bigfoot is a reported ape-like creature that has been the subject of folklore for years. The creature is said to reside in the forests of North America, with multiple sightings reported over the years. The image of the creature has been screenshot from Google Earth and posted onto a Reddit community group, which shares information and theories about Bigfoot. Some people have commented that the creature is bear-like and have dismissed the image as a Bigfoot sighting. The sighting found at the coordinates 38 degrees, 16 feet, 24 inches north, 108 degrees, 8 feet, 32 inches in western Colorado. I think that's how you're supposed to say that. Shows what some believe is the creature roaming through a clearing near vegetation. I can pop this up so you guys can see it. So you guys can check it out. Hold on. Where is that? Present. Oh, they changed it.
I was just looking it up on my phone so I could see it.
And there it is, right there, in all of its glory. I don't know what it is. It's a Bigfoot. I don't know that's a Bigfoot, but anywho, that is what it looks like. It looks like a blob, but
Well,
according,
at a zoomed-in version, and
yeah,
it looks like it could be either a bear on all fours or a shadow of a person walking. Like the shape is there of all four limbs. It's just a
right.
matter of perspective of is it something on all fours or standing up? And it looks like it could go either way.
Yeah. The caption alongside the image posted to Reddit reads, "Is it a bear, a puddle, a hiker without gear? Impossible to say for certain, but the darker areas of the subject align with the shadows of other objects nearby," they added. Measures around 7 to 7.5 feet, appears hunched over. Subject does not appear on other satellite images from different years, which might imply that subject is mobile or not stationary object. One of the members of the group who was familiar with the area of the sighting commented on the thread saying they had previously felt a creepy feeling when in this exact area. That's very scientific of them. They said,
Oh.
"I'm actually quite familiar with that general area. I lived in Montrose for 26 years and used to camp and hike on the Uncompahgre. Don't ask me how to fucking pronounce that plateau." They added, "There was one section on that loop hike that sometimes gave me the willies in a vague and undefinable way." Okay. And at least one other person I know said the same thing about that area. I don't know about the image, but I do know that the Uncompahgre Plateau is big, rugged, and at least potentially squatchy. Squatchy.
Gotta love that adjective.
Fucking squatchy.
Case closed. Dude said it was squatchy.
Yeah, it was squatchy. He had a fucking funny feeling, so
He got the
it's
willies
definitely Bigfoot.
for sure.
Fucking hell. I went into a house and my stomach flip-flopped, so there must have been a ghost in there. Go fucking screw. Oh, God. And our next story of the evening from the mirror.co.uk, a top UFO investigator says aliens have an agenda, and it's not a peaceful one. Malcolm Robinson, a leading UFO expert who has investigated dozens of sightings over an impressive 45-year career, says aliens don't come in peace and have an agenda. Malcolm Robinson has written 10 books on aliens and described what he thinks they look like. Great. One of the UK's leading extraterrestrial specialists, Robinson has researched a dozen of alien incidents over the decades and claims they have carried out abductions. Although many sightings are explainable, he says that there are also several incidents over the years that are still not fully understood. And Robinson has warned that aliens have an agenda, although it is not clear what it is. To stick things in people's asses? Whilst a large proportion of the UFOs can be explained away as having natural explanations, only a few remain. And it is to that small 1% that I and my colleagues worldwide are trying to get to the bottom, Robinson told the Daily Star. What is in no doubt is that the UFO enigma is real, very real. It has been with us throughout time. We see this in Renaissance paintings and old cave paintings, these strange shapes and entities. What is this, fucking ancient aliens now? Shit. Asked what aliens might want from us, mere humans, Robinson responded, they have an agenda for sure, but we can speculate. I wouldn't say they are peaceful due to the thousands of UFO abductions worldwide. Robinson became immersed in the world of UFOs at the age of 20 when he tried to prove all sightings were nonsense and failed. Since then, he has given lectures in the UK, Europe, and America, and has discussed his theories with the likes of Amanda Holden and Steven Spielberg. He also founded Scotland's oldest current UFO and Paranormal Activity Society, Strange Phenomena Investigations, in 1979. When he asked what he thinks aliens look like, Robinson said the most commonly reported sightings aren't too dissimilar from the kinds of creatures we're used to seeing in films and TV. Witnesses state that they are seeing what we call grays, he explained. These are small, childlike creatures about 3 to 4 feet in height with blue-gray translucent skin, large pear-shaped heads with inky black wraparound eyes, no sign of any genitalia. His many years of investigation have also led him to unpack a number of dramatic incidents, including Scotland's first ever alien abduction, which allegedly saw Edinburgh's residents Gary Wood and Colin Wright carried away on August 17th, 1992, in what is now known as the A70 incident. I don't think I've ever heard about that one.
Me neither.
Writing about the incident for one of his best-selling books, Robinson described the pair was subjected to an astonishing and frightening experience, which has stayed with them to this day. The pair had been driving on the A70, described as a desolate stretch of road, when they were confronted with a 2-tiered disc-shaped object which looked decidedly out of place, hovering about 20 feet above the surface of the road. The men sped away and believed they had escaped, but lost about a half hour's worth of memory from the drive and days later began experiencing headaches. It was then that Robinson became involved, researching the case and subjecting the pair to hypnosis to better understand what had happened that night. Not a big fan of hypnosis, people. Just got to state that for the record. The hypnotherapist was Helen Walters, a dear friend of mine and someone who would treat both Gary and Colin with the utmost care, he wrote. Under hypnosis, both men recalled seeing 3 small entities who took them into a flying black object and kept them there for some period of time. Both Gary and Colin are left feeling bemused by what happened to them, Robinson wrote. And that is the end of that story, but I guess that just means that they're out to fucking hurt us.
Yeah, it was pretty dark.
I mean, I guess. And our next story of the evening, our title story, if you will, from bestlifeonline.com. I've never heard of such a website, but anyway. Miley Cyrus claims she was chased down by a UFO. Since she became an adult, Miley Cyrus's career has been defined by pushing boundaries of what people might have expected of her as the daughter of country singer Billy Ray Cyrus and the lead of Disney Channel's Hannah Montana. Okay, now as a man who grew up with kids who watched Hannah Montana, just fuck you for that fucking wrecking ball video, bitch. Like, I'm a father. I'm not supposed to sexualize you.
Right.
Bam! Her fans already know that she doesn't really fit into any one box when it comes to what kind of performer and celebrity she is. And apparently, even aliens from another planet have taken notice. Since the star claimed in a 2020 interview that she was once chased down by some sort of UFO. Read on to find out what Cyrus said about her unexplainable experience and how it continued to affect her.
Those bitches.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read on, but okay. While Cyrus has made many outlandish moves that have caused controversy over the years, by the time she sat down with fashion designer Rick Owens for Interview magazine in 2020, her public image was comparatively tame. When the former child star opened up about her UFO encounter, she had 6 solo albums under her belt and was making headlines for finding herself, as Elle put it in 2019. Rather than apologizing for cyberbullying Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato in 2008, or for her insensitive comments about hip-hop music and culture in 2017. Is this a fucking opinion piece or something about UFOs? During their discussion, Owens and Miley talked about the new music she was recording, being creative during the coronavirus, and living on the road, which brought them to extraterrestrial life. The designer told a story about staying on a ranch near Area 51 for his 57th birthday, which is when Cyrus asked him if he believes in aliens. I don't really, but it seems a little arrogant to assume there's nobody else but us, Owens responded to Cyrus's question about alien life, to which the singer replied, "That's what I expletive think." I'm gonna go fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Then she went into the details of what she believes was her brush with something from another planet, though she didn't indicate exactly when this brush occurred. I was driving through San Bernardino with my friend, and I got chased down by some sort of UFO, Cyrus said. Hey! I'm gonna fucking kill my dogs. God fucking damn it. I'm pretty sure about what I saw, but I'd also bought weed wax from a guy in a van in front of a taco shop, so it could have been the weed wax. I'm going to go with weed wax. But the best way to describe it is a flying snowplow. It had this big plow in the front of it and was glowing yellow. I did see it flying, and my friend saw it too. There were a couple of other cars on the road, and they also stopped to look. So I think what I saw was real. She thinks what she saw was real on the weed wax. Whether something was really there or she was having some sort of weed wax hallucination, the sighting took Cyrus off guard. She said that she was shaken for like 5 days and couldn't really look at the sky the same because she was afraid they might come back. But when Owens asked her if she felt threatened, the former child star said no. I didn't feel threatened at all, actually, but I did see a being sitting in the front of the flying object, she answered. It looked at me, we made eye contact, and I think that's what really shook me, looking into the eyes of something that I couldn't quite wrap my head around. But you're so right to say that it's a form of narcissism to think that we're the only things that could be in this vast universe. Yes, he flew down, looked Miley Cyrus in the eyes, gave her a wink. What the fuck? Coincidentally, the same week as Cyrus's interview with Owens, fellow singer and Disney alum Lovato posted on Instagram that she had been spending time in Joshua Tree with ufologist Stephen Greer. Oh, he's fucking reputable. Over the past couple of months, I have dug deep into the science of consciousness and experienced not only peace and serenity like I've never known, but I have also witnessed the most incredibly profound sightings, both in the sky as well as feet away from me, Lovato wrote in the since deleted post. Since deleted.
I remember that time. I remember.
Oh, God. Anywho, Miley Cyrus saw a fucking UFO, people.
I like Miley. I do, but that's not credible.
You don't think?
No.
Come on.
That's just
Miley
my
Cyrus?
opinion, allegedly.
You think Miley Cyrus smoking some fucking weed wax and going for a drive and couldn't have possibly seen a UFO?
I think she's wild and crazy and living her best life, and we get to choose how much weight we put into her stories, and they're enjoyable. I love to hear them, but I'm not hanging my opinions on it.
On Miley Cyrus. You're not gonna put the fate of UFOdom.
No.
As it were.
She's got great purpose on this planet. She's wonderful, but she doesn't need to put her 2 cents in on UFOs.
No, I mean if she saw one, fuck it, I guess. But yeah, just as with any of this stuff, I take all of it with a grain of salt. Yeah. I've said before on the other show, I've had my own quote unquote UFO experience, but I will always preface it by saying, I'm not saying that this thing was extraterrestrial. I'm not telling you what I saw. I'm just explaining to you what I saw.
Right.
Because I don't feel like I'm in any way qualified to say what it was. Yeah. I can just tell you the experience that I had. It was very odd. I don't know what it was, but I make no claims about it.
Yeah, but the people who hear things sometimes, not everyone uses discernment in telling stories and hearing stories. So,
no,
it's a big open window.
Yeah, you can't, if you want to look into this stuff, you can't do it with a biased opinion, which is very, very hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go into it being open-minded on all sides. I've tried more and more in life as I've gotten older to see the other sides of conversations, to take a moment and listen to people that I'm offended by.
Yeah.
And like try to understand them at least a little bit.
Right.
And the thing that I've found in a lot of these cases is that I tend to agree with them more than I thought I would, which is weird.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
But I think people need to just step back and, take a moment.
Yeah.
And realize that we can just be people and we can talk.
Right.
Well,
and that's what's beautiful. That's why I love exploring these fun things. Like, yeah, I seem to be kind of rigid in my beliefs, but it's still fun to like go down those paths and hear those things. And I know what you mean, because I'm a very devil's advocate type of person. Even when I do feel strongly about something, I'm the person in the room that will like argue the opposite side's point because I feel like it's valuable. Even though I don't agree with it, I still bring it up because it's still a bullet point on said topic.
Yeah. And this stuff is fun.
It is.
It's just fun. I don't buy into everything we talk about 100%. No. I've said that before. I will say it again. I'll fucking say it multiple times. But it's fun, and I am hopeful, I guess I could say. I want something to be real. And I say that having had my own experiences.
Right.
I'm a questioning person. I don't look at life without questions. Because I just think to do so is it's folly. It's extreme folly. It's
arrogant too.
Yeah, it's extreme folly. So we still got a couple stories for you guys tonight. So let's see here. Speaking of cults, from Q13Fox.com, Idaho cult mom Lori Vallow wants case dismissed over speedy trial concerns after 1,169 days in jail. Lori Vallow asked Idaho Judge Stephen Boyce in a Thursday motion to dismiss her case after she has spent 1,169 days in jail for her alleged role in the murders of her two children, as well as her husband's ex-wife, Tammy Daybell. Vallow's defense team is arguing that the court has violated her right to a speedy trial. Her joint murder trial with husband Chad Daybell was initially set for 2021, but has been delayed due to her competency examinations and the coronavirus pandemic, among other factors. The first trial setting in this instant case was for October 11th, 2022, since that was within 6 months of April 19th, 2022. The government then asked for more time, and the court granted the request and set trial for January 9th, 2023. This violated her right to a speedy trial, the motion states. Thursday's motion to dismiss includes a timeline of events in Vallow's case, including her initial arrest in Hawaii in February 2020 when she was held on $5 million bond. Her indictment in May 2021, her arraignment in April 2022, her first trial setting on the indictment in October 2022, her second trial setting on the indictment in January 2023, and her third trial setting on the indictment, which is scheduled for April of this year, totaling 1,169 days in prison. And she should fucking rot there. Anyway, Vallow's defense argues in the motion that her constitutional rights, including her right to be presumed innocent and her right to a speedy trial, have been ignored by the government. Meanwhile, Daybell has waived his rights to a speedy trial and has asked the state to delay the trial set for April in Fremont County. The court will hold a hearing to discuss Vallow's motion to dismiss other motions on February 9th. Vallow and Daybell are charged with murdering Vallow's two children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan, around September 2019 when the children disappeared. The couple, who married in November 2019, allegedly collected JJ's and Tylee's Social Security benefits between October 1st, 2019 and January 22nd, 2020 after their murders. The children were missing for several months when police say the couple lied about the children's whereabouts and then slipped away to Hawaii before their bodies were found buried on Chad Daybell's property in rural Idaho. The couple were indicted in late May 2021 on multiple counts, each of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception, first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder related to the deaths of Tylee, JJ, and Chad Daybell's ex-wife. Officials announced at the time. Arizona officials in June 2021 also indicted Vallow in the July 2019 murder of her ex-husband, Charles Vallow. The case has garnered national attention and inspired various crime television episodes and documentaries. Netflix most recently released the documentary series Sins of Our Mother about Vallow and her life before the alleged crimes on September 14th. And right before that came out, we found that her fucking son got charged with a sex crime.
Her son?
Yeah, the one that was in the fucking documentary with his wife.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. Daybell has written several apocalyptic novels based loosely on Mormon theology. Both were involved in a group that promotes preparedness for the biblical end times. Vallow and Daybell bonded over their religious beliefs after initially meeting in 2018 when they appeared together for the first time on a podcast discussing theories about the end of the world. Woo. God love people.
Have you watched any of those old podcasts before?
No. No.
I didn't go full deep, but I watched some of them, and it's bizarre with hindsight 2020. You know,
I have a hard time with that shit. That going back and watching that stuff, like who was that woman? They just did a thing on her. Fuck.
Casey Anthony.
No, the woman there that had the podcast, and she basically got people to commit murder. Oh.
Against her, that culty lady?
Yeah.
And
I
she got
can't remember.
mummified with glitter on all over her?
No. This is like an
That
old
was a thing,
blog.
though. You remember that, though.
No, actually, I don't.
What?
I don't remember that one.
It
This was
was
like a
pretty
fucking old
recent.
blog. This is an old blog talk show.
Oh,
I can't remember. I sent you the thing on it. Remember when I sent you the thing on the Pazuzu?
I remember Pazuzu.
It was the documentary that was in that series. There was only two of them. It was a Pazuzu and that lady. I can't fucking remember her name right now. Shit.
Yeah, say it's not
She
ringing
was
a
into
bell
that
for me.
orgone energy shit, but she made like fucking hockey pucks of shit that made people like throw them everywhere to combat the fucking demons. I don't
What?
fucking know.
Maybe I didn't
Dude,
watch that
you
one.
go down that fucking road. It's weird.
There's all sorts of weird ones like that out there. We really could do like one a week of that weird culty
Exactly. I
shit.
told you. And our last story of the evening from foxnews.com. South Carolina legal scion Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial wrapped up day 4. Alex Murdaugh double murder trial in Colleton County ended Monday a little after 5 p.m. Jurors are due back in court Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. for the prosecution to continue presented their case. You mean presenting? Anyhow. During an interview with investigators June 10th, 2021, Alex Murdaugh broke down in tears after he was asked about finding his wife and son shot to death. I know you saw a traumatic picture. I know it's not easy. I know it's not hard, an investigator can be heard saying as Alex sobs hysterically. It's just so bad. I did him so bad, Murdaugh appears to say through the tears. Prosecutor Creighton Waters paused the video and asked the witness, SLED Special Agent Jeff Croft, what Alex said. It's just so bad. I did him so bad, the agent repeated. Alex appeared to mouth from the defense table, I didn't say that. His attorneys did not object. SLAD investigators did not ask any follow-up questions after the puzzling statement. Earlier in the interview, Croft questioned Alex about his timeline the night of the murders. The last time you saw Paul and Maggie was when you were all eating supper, the agent asked. Yes, sir, Alex replied. Waters said in opening statements that Paul Murdaugh took a cell phone video at the dog kennels at 8:44 p.m., and Alex and Maddie's Murdaugh voices can be heard on the recording. Prosecutors have yet to play the critical video in court. The mother and son's phones went dark at about 8:50 p.m. Alex Murdaugh broke down in sobs in an interview with SLED agents 3 days after his wife, Maggie Murdaugh, and his son, Paul Murdaugh, were shot to death. Special Agent David Owens asked Alex about his marriage. Very good as it could possibly be, he replied. The only issue they ever fought about was the length they stayed at his in-laws, he said. She was a wonderful wife. She was a great mother, he gushed before dissolving into tears. She didn't work. She always said it was her job because she was privileged enough not to work. She was going to make sure she took care of me and the boys. She took care of everything. She did absolutely everything. Prosecutors say Alex used 2 different guns to fatally shoot Maggie, 52, and Paul, 22, to prevent his expansive financial crimes from coming to light. He described his son as a wonderful child in the interview, but said he was irresponsible, especially with guns and boats. Yeah, no shit.
Oh, right. Fuck.
What a fucking thing to say. He described his son as a wonderful child in the interview, but said he was irresponsible, especially with guns and boats. The boat with which he fucking wound up killing somebody. Jesus fucking Christ. He would leave anything anywhere, Alex told the investigators of his son. Alex said he bought each of his sons a 300 blackout rifle. Paul lost his rifle and often used his brother Buster Murdaugh's to hunt hogs. Alex said he was pretty sure he had replaced Paul's lost 300 blackout, but couldn't say for sure. Creighton Waters, lead prosecutor for the South Carolina Attorney's Office, has argued that Alex allegedly used Buster's 300 blackout rifle to shoot Paul to death. He allegedly used an assault rifle to execute Maggie. Alex's defense lawyers have argued their client is innocent, and the crime scene indicates there were 2 shooters, not 1. Jesus fucking Christ. Alex Murdaugh told investigators 3 days after the murders he hadn't visited the dog kennels June 7th, 2021, before finding his wife Maggie and his son Paul shot to death. He made a similar statement hours after the double slayings to SLED Special Agent David Owens, who also conducted the second interview. Alex walks investigators through a timeline of his day The disgraced lawyer said he ate dinner with Paul and Maggie at the main house. Maggie, 52, was concerned about Paul's blood pressure, he added. His feet had swollen up recently. It was a huge deal, Alex told Owen and SLED Special Agent Jeff Croft, who participated in the questioning. They were all seated in Owen's patrol car at the hunting lodge of Alex's brother, John Marvin Murdaugh. Maggie left the house to go to the dog kennels, and Paul also left, but he wasn't sure where he'd gone, he said on the recording. Alex took a nap, and when he woke, he called and texted Maggie, but she didn't answer, he told the SLED agents. At 9:06 p.m., he left the main house to check on his mother, who suffers from Alzheimer's disease and lives 20 minutes away. When he returned, no one was at the main house. He drove down to the kennels. That's when he said he found his wife and son lying in pools of blood and brain matter and called 911 at 10:06 p.m. Ugh. Anywho, I'm going to stop there on that one.
It's a case, man.
If you haven't looked into the documentary on HBO Max, Low Country, that goes through this whole thing, it's a fucking story.
It's wild.
A story. There's another one I watched recently, which kind of reminds me of this guy. The Big Con, and I think it's on Apple TV. And about Eric Kahn, this guy that basically worked over the Social Security Administration and became this hotshot fucking like he had like ads all over TV. People loved this guy, but when he went down, he took down so many people with him.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
That one's good. You should check that one out. But yeah, that fucking Murdaugh story. It's
have you watched the police cam video of him in the car right after, in the moment when he got in the police car and was talking to him, and it was basically like an interrogation, but it was in a police car.
No, I haven't.
And he's crying and breaking down. That's what they were quoting there in that article. And
right.
Knowing now what we know, that's really like a dark watch, because well, I shouldn't say that because he's innocent until proven guilty, technically. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just really like with the timeline of the phone, like the evidence that we do have that is out in the public is like, whoa, dude, like he looks pretty fucking guilty to me, allegedly. So
yeah, I mean, these stories, they're so fucking sad.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, they're so fucking sad. They're tragic. Like, you go back to the beginning of this story, like it starts with his son in the fucking boating accident.
Right. That's what's so crazy. It's not just one story. This is like a saga.
And actually, I don't even think it starts there. I think there's something that happens before the boating accident.
Yeah, no, this whole family, there's a whole lot of history there and all sorts of crazy stuff. Like it's a saga.
Sorry,
like
power fucking breeds corruption.
Power. And they had a lot of local power. And that's
power
why
breeds fucking corruption.
Yeah.
And it's very sad that it happens. Human beings are just broken little toys. We're fucking broken little toys.
Yeah.
And anybody who tries to tell me different, fuck you. We just can't leave well enough alone.
Right. Well, to be fair, we have been that way since the beginning of time. I mean, you look back in history, they were all fucking broken then too. So
we don't learn our lessons.
Yeah. We're not as evolved as we would like to think we are.
We don't learn our lessons.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just look at the things that go on in the world. We don't learn our lessons. Ever. We just continually make the same bullshit mistakes over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm beginning to think we're a failed experiment. I'm beginning to think.
We're a failed something. That's for sure.
Jesus Christ. Anyhow, on that note, this has been the pilot episode of the Fortean Files. If you like this shit, give it a like. I would say subscribe to this channel, but this isn't the channel yet. Well, this is the live stream. I am going to upload this show to the actual channel. And next week we'll be on our new channel, the Fortean Files. And I will post all the relevant links in on the Facebook page. If you want to find everything, you can go to facebook.com/the Fortean Slip. I'll be posting all the updates there. And I will have the show out as a podcast. It will be being uploaded. I started a new podcast page, so I will upload this as a video podcast to Anchor, which goes to Spotify. So any of you who missed the live stream, if you want to catch it on Anchor/Spotify, you will be able to catch the video of said program. And we will be back next week. I think we're going to plan on Monday for right now. If anything changes, I will, of course, let you peoples know. If you can go over, I'll have to find my Rumble page for next week, so I can get people to subscribe to that, because I'd like to start live streaming directly to Rumble instead of YouTube, just because I'm not a
spread our wings somewhere different.
Well, I'm not a YouTube fan anymore. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They're coming down hard on with censorship. Video, people like us who we curse are getting demonetized / cut back in the algorithm, so you're not getting as many views. People aren't seeing the stuff. So I just want to try a different platform. I will still be uploading the show to YouTube. I just want to go to a different place. Katie and I, at some point, will discuss maybe doing some type of a Patreon thing if things work out. Because I'd like to do something for the people that want to be loyal, to the show. Because we actually, believe it or not, at one point in time had some.
Right.
But that's further on down the line. Right now, we're just gonna broadcast what we're doing to Rumble, YouTube. I don't know that I'll ever put it back on Facebook again. Facebook is too fickle. I'll post the links to it so that people can check it out. But otherwise, it'll just be as it is on a podcast, be on YouTube, be on Rumble. You guys will be able to find it. So, thanks to the few people who listened to us tonight. We had Reaper's Clips, commented Stargazer, and thanks for welcoming us back. And Lance.
A couple familiar faces.
Yeah, people we've seen before. So spread the word, let people know that we've started it's not, we're doing a different show. It already feels a little different. And while it may seem like it's the same shit, I mean, because it technically is, call it what you will. I feel like it's different.
More is different. So
yeah. And we will get to see Katie eventually.
Yes,
so,
I'll get there. I promise.
Katie's working on getting herself set up. I told her how to set up her green screen so she can make things look at least somewhat workable. I will try to make sure next week that the dogs are out of the fucking room. Two of them started fighting halfway through the fucking show, which I used to do, make sure they were in another room. But yeah, like I said, thanks to everybody who watched tonight and checked out the show. And to those of you who check it out post the show being live, leave a comment and let us know what you think of the show. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.